Welcome to the Grown in Greek podcast, and got another good one. Can't wait to talk about. But before we get started, let's go over some housekeeping notes. Of course, make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, and share on social media, and subscribe to the podcast on podcast platforms and on YouTube, so you can watch and learn and grow and all of that good stuff. But today's guest, this episode's guest, he's a social entrepreneur who is passionate about empowering his community and has led several organizations that award grants and strategic efforts for social change. He's the founder and CEO of the Penny Foundation. He's a minister of religious education at Tabernacle Baptist Church in Birmingham, Alabama, and a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, my first fam brother. Please welcome to the Grown in Greek podcast, Lyord Watson Jr. Good brother, how are you?
I tell people all the time, it's just Lord. It's just
okay. But that's not the way it's spelled. That's not the way it's spelled. You got to add some to it.
The Y is silent. The Y is silent.
Gotcha. Well, how are you? And thank you for joining the podcast. I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Doing well. I'm doing well. Glad to be here. Thank you.
Good. So, you're definitely doing the work. I just kind of breezed over a few things, high points in your bio and your experience, but it is super impressive because you're doing the work in the community, making a difference, working with nonprofits and providing, resources and really truly empowering the economic impact that organizations can have in the community. But why is that work important? Why did you get into it? And what happened that sparked that interest in, ultimately you founding an organization that continues to do that work?
Yeah. So thank you. Thank you for the question. It really boils down to people. I love people, and in these projects or programs that we're engaging in or being a part of, they're really driven by people.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was always concerned about, I have this interest in this intersection between the Black church and economic development in Black communities. And I think it came out of, getting involved with philanthropy, organized philanthropy in 2003, and just learning more about it, and ended up going to seminary and learning about a man by the name of William Reuben Pettiford.
Okay.
So William Reuben Pettiford was the pastor of 16th Street Baptist Church in the late 1800s. And in 1890, he led 16th Street in starting the first Black banking institution in the state of Alabama. And so they would take up offering for the church, they'd take up offering for the bank. He went to other churches and they took up offerings for the bank. They pooled those monies together and they started making loans, building houses, starting businesses, teaching financial literacy, and growing the Black community through financial literacy and education. So that's kind of how. And when I read about it, I was hooked, and that's why I was starting the foundation.
So you've been able to really, you've basically been able to like echo his whole grassroots in your own life. You're a minister, so you're doing the work in the church, you're doing the work professionally. What give me a high point? Give me a high point of one of the success stories that I guess has come out of doing that kind of work.
Yeah. So for me, it's always about the work that we do and being genuine in what we do. And so the high point for me is when COVID started, or at the peak of COVID, we had businesses that came to the foundation. I mean, we didn't necessarily go out. They came to the foundation. They were concerned about businesses not being eligible for PPP and other types of products that were sustaining businesses during that time. And from that conversation, we began this fund called the Future Forward Fund. And the Future Forward Small Business Grant Cycle that we've been running now for, I think, 6 or 7 cycles. And so for me, being able to say, okay, the community came to the foundation with a need. We listened. We tried to figure out how can we now respond to this need and to start a fund and then to start making grants in the community in response to it. That's really a high point for me.
Wow. And this is with your organization, the Penny Foundation.
The Penny Foundation. Yep.
Yeah, that's dope. So let's talk, about obviously, as far as the D9 goes, we're nonprofit organizations. We do, the same work to give back and everything. But I know that we're just one organization, right? So AKA is one organization, Alpha is one organization, the rest of the D9, and we strive to hit certain initiatives and everything like that. But with your work with I won't say the broader community, but I guess that's the way that I'm going to frame it. What are some of the areas that you see that I guess are missing in when it comes to making sure that meaningful work and stuff is contributing to the community with some of the state and federal monetary opportunities possibly going away? How can we step in organizationally to fill those gaps?
Yeah. So again, that's another great question, and I will go back to um, I'll go back to the early 1900s and
Mm-hmm.
late 1800s, and how did we build communities then, right? Because there were no protections, there were no safety nets. How did we build then? And so that's what I look at as the model, and it's still everybody has something to give. Whether it's time, talent, treasure, testimony, everybody has something to give. And if we give it in a coordinated fashion, and be intentional about it, then we can start to see change.
Mm-hmm.
I can see the work. You can see the work between the D9 organizations. Keep the data. Keep the data of what you're doing and who you're touching and how you're touching. And then be able to use that data to frame, this is our value, this is why we deserve to be funded. But also being able to take your monetary portion of that as well, and put together in order to create something that's bigger. We all have to work the stuff that's bigger than ourselves. Ultimately,
Mm-hmm.
that's what it has to be.
Mm-hmm. That's so true. And that's one of, as an undergrad, for me, I didn't really realize until you start to do the work and you start to see your place, I guess, and how you can contribute and everything to society, to efforts and things like that, to give back to the community. But it's not until you step into the perpetual part of it, being an alumni of an organization, that you really get a chance to really dive in and see, well, my place is to make sure that this is done, and it's a collective effort, but the thing that really helps me to see, like you said, the impact is some of the data and some of the just say the amounts of money and things like that are given away to specifically like HBCUs and financial literacy and efforts and stuff like that. So I applaud what you're doing specifically with the Penny Foundation, because I know some of the recipients and some of the work and stuff like that you guys have been doing. But in terms of other people supporting Penny Foundation in your efforts, how can they do that? And what resources and things like that are you looking for in collaborations and things like that you are looking for that can help to continue to foster the work that you're doing?
Yeah. So, we're like any other nonprofit. We do take donations. So the thing about it is, it's easier to get funding for a project. However, understand that the work that we're doing, um, um, it takes people, and so we have to fund operations. And so that's the thing, right? It's oftentimes not what needs to be done. It's a lot of times it's about the who is doing it. Right? It's not about
Okay.
the what. We know the what. We know whatever the statistics you want to throw out, but it's the who's going to be doing it. And oftentimes what we find in our community is that talented people are dispersed across various organizations. Right? And so, where do you find a place where talented people can come together and be able to work and to plan and to grow and to build and be able to take care of families, right? And so, the thing about our communities, we have to build institutions. We have to build institutions that can stand, that are supported by our own, that can stand on its own, for when times where you don't have to go outside, so you can be independent broker and thinker, and actually have power. And so, the website www.pennyfoundation.org. Go donate. You see the Penny Foundation Fund there at the top. That's how you support us and our operations. And then we support projects, programs. We have more than 45 different projects and programs that we support in some form or fashion, that people have either brought to the Penny Foundation, recommend to the Penny Foundation, or have needed us to help facilitate. So yeah, we love what we do, but understand, we have to build institutions in order to make these things happen.
Are you looking for like specific programs or projects right now?
Yeah, so we're excited to bring another HBCU, another debate to Birmingham. And so this year, we're going to do an HBCU and gaming debate classic. It's going to be October the 1st through the 3rd. And so we are looking for debate teams from HBCUs. And then we're going to partner with, I think it's Community X Foundation, to host a gaming tournament as well. And so you'll see more information coming out about that in the upcoming weeks. And so what we recognize is this. Debate has the ability to communicate a point, and to think and to research. These are skills that are transferable. And so we understand that we want to celebrate these athletes. And I do say athletes because I believe it's the academic athletic abilities as well. So we're going to celebrate them. We want to celebrate gaming, but we also want to connect employers. And so we're going to have a career fair for the people who are coming into Birmingham, and participating in this program as well, because I want them to be able to meet employers in Birmingham and Alabama, if you've never been, and have a chance to recruit as well, but also showcase what we all have to offer here. It's a beautiful city, and we like to show it off.
So let's break down what gaming you are specifically referring to, because in the like the general game space is reserved for like entertainment, but these are intellectual games that stimulate thought, like you mentioned. But talk about that, and then what is the correlation, I guess, between career paths that you see could spark from some a student or a young person, I'll say young person, being interested in gaming and stuff.
Yeah. So I know, I got gray in my beard, and so
I got a few up here.
Yeah.
A few up here, Lord.
Um,
That's wisdom, though, right? That's wisdom, right?
That's what we call it. That's right. That's what we call it. So when I was growing up, it's like it's the video game. It was almost the devil. You can spend only a certain amount of time on it. You got to get off of it. There was no you just being lazy. You were wasting your time away, right? But what we learned is that it takes practice in order to get better at games, and so the games are more complex now, and they even have teams, and so the opportunity to have people who will practice together to get good at a particular game or what have you, and then compete, right? The competition, it makes all the difference. And so I don't know a lot about this gaming space, right?
Okay.
I don't know a lot about the gaming space. I watch my son play on his device, and I listen to people talk about it. However, what I do realize is that just as much as we are on the buying the video game side and the playing side, there's also the other side of actually production and producing the game. And so what this, for me, what it does is it allows us to lift up career path, whether it's AI, whether it's STEAM, all these things are included when it comes into the gaming arena. And so connecting students who have team building, that they learn from gaming, whether it's analytical, It's figuring out what to do, what you did wrong on this round or what have you. All of those type of soft skills, all of those things, how do they transfer into your career going forward? And so we want to encourage students to think that way, and we want to introduce students to potential employers who need those type of talents and skills.
And as far as like the debate part of it, so there's a debate side, and then there's a gaming side.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what's the difference? I guess in terms of the execution of the competition part of it, that would you would say that students would be interested in, from both perspectives. And then what kind of students, I guess, what kind of students are you looking for? I know you mentioned HBCUs, but what kind of students, if a HBCU wanted to put together some teams, what kind of students should they be, looking for?
So a lot of stuff is already established, right?
Okay.
There are esports teams already established at schools, and schools have esports programs. Here locally, Miles College just opened up their esports space where they have their program there. And so really it's finding the teams in organizations that are teams in colleges that already have organized programs, or even if it's students who understand the space and have come together to play. Either way works as far as the gaming side. As far as debate side, I mean, these debate teams, they're formed, and they have, they have established debate programs, and or maybe they're getting started. Either way, right? But these are programs that are either students who seek to be a part of some type of debate team or debate experience. There might be schools that have pre-law programs. There might be schools who have speech programs and things like that. But these are established programs as well.
Okay. What are your thoughts in terms of, how this intellectual space will shape the public's view of those next generation, Black leaders and young Black leaders and young Black voices, as it relates to what's to come, for the culture?
Yeah, and so this is the second one we're doing. Last year, I was just amazed at the thought process and the depth of those students who stood and debated last year. I don't know the topic. We haven't figured out the topic yet for this year. Last year, it was is a two-party system. No, a two-party system is the best way to govern the United States. And so to listen to the opposing and the opposition and the going and the backing forward and the rebuttals and the point of reference or questions, it was exciting. It was rapid. It was fast. So you had to know your information and be on top of it. And so it was just really cool to see. And so I think it's important that we bring it back again, because frankly, you say, student, the next generation of student leaders, really they're leaders now.
Right.
We're in a now type of space. And so, showing your ability to articulate and to process and to pivot on the spot. We need to see that, not only us as whether it's a alumni or grown in Greek, but working with working on a partnership with local school districts to actually host debates there in the school auditorium, so that students have an opportunity to see this. So high school students can see college students debate, and so hopefully to spark and see, okay, well, I like to give a point or what have you, but now you see an opportunity in a way to do it in a constructive manner. So I love to see more debate programs in this area. I think that's one of the reasons why I think it's so powerful, because not only will we be able to help people see debate in colleges, but also see them have debates in high schools as well.
Mm-hmm. And as far as like the HBCUs, why was that? I mean, besides the obvious, why was it important to really tackle a partnership and really be intentional about partnering with HBCUs for a project like this?
It makes sense. State of
Okay.
Alabama has a large concentration of HBCUs. I think the second is, there are two different types of debate. Um,
Okay.
debate styles. And so HBCUs mostly debate in one style. And so it makes for um, um, it makes for a better tournament, a true tournament, because if you do competing styles, then it's an exhibition, right? But it's important. We want to have, there's going to be a winner. Somebody's going to win. Somebody's going to win a cash award for the university, or for um, their organization. So that's kind of that's two reasons. And the third reason is, again, in Birmingham, in the metro area, we need to see young students need to be exposed to other opportunities. So when I came to Birmingham, I walked on to a football team, and so I played football in college. Um,
You did.
mhm,
Okay. You
mhm.
didn't put that in your bio. What, man?
Well, yeah, I played 2 years, then get on scholarship, and I walked on off. So, so
Okay.
that's
Okay.
but it's more to life than just football. It's more to life
Right.
than sports, what have you. There's the academic sports is just as viable. And so, we don't plan on stopping here. We plan on continuing to figure out what else can we add to this thing year after year. So I know 2025 is going to be upon us in October, but I'm already looking at 2026 and what else can we add to make this thing even bigger.
So I want to shift for a few minutes, and I hope you won't mind me throwing. This is not a curveball because it's a current event, but with your work with nonprofit organizations,
Uh-huh.
and with the current climate and everything, and then your work and your role in ministry.
Hmm.
So the provision has been in place for about 70 years, and the IRS just I guess put down this new filing, had this new court filing where churches and then nonprofits can endorse political candidates.
Hmm.
What are your thoughts about that? And then how does that, I guess, change the way organizations and ministries, I guess, should be doing their work more strategically?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess in essence, as far as churches supporting political candidates, I don't think that's the church's role or place. Um, I think that what you had, or let me back up. So I have a certain belief. I believe in a three sector society, meaning that there are three sectors that make up society. There's the government, there's business, and then there's philanthropy, right?
Mm.
And it's based off of, I think it's a 1978 report or what have you. There have been others done, but that's kind of what I believe, those three sectors. And so you need government for leadership, you need business for resources, and then philanthropy is captures everybody. And so oftentimes what you'll have is business or government tries to be the largest sector of society, when really philanthropy is always the largest sector, because philanthropy encapsulates everybody. Okay. Okay. So when I see church, nonprofits, what have you, it's in this umbrella philanthropy bucket. All right. So as far as endorsing a candidate, um, once a church starts endorsing a candidate, that means it loses its ability in order to stand independent of the system, right? And
Mm.
so church has to be able to criticize or critique, um, for lack of better terms, whether it's liberal or conservative, Republican or Democrat. The church should not be guided by politics. That's not to say that church people don't vote. That's not to say we don't have opinions. That's not to say we engage in our democratic responsibility to be a part of government society. But as far as endorsement, for me, that's outside the bounds of what the church should be doing. And then nonprofits, it just doesn't make good sense. So one thing I learned when you study Pettiford life, he had partners, he had support, community members from the white business community as well as the black business community. And so it takes being able to broker both sides in order to be able to grow something to support communities. And so as far as getting to supporting candidates and stuff like that, the Penny Foundation, we don't get into that. We don't get into that either. We want to support and work for whoever's in the seat, because whoever's working for the people, we want to be able to support them in order to make sure that the people get what they need.
So let's keep our fingers crossed that that's gonna that message is going to permeate throughout society, because I totally agree with you. It's going to create a slippery slope. I think, like people say, the veil is going to be lifted, in a lot of ways. And it's unfortunate, I guess it levels the playing field in some cases. But it's going to be interesting to see, how people are able to adapt to, their ways of reaching people and helping and resourcing people. That's going to be the most interesting thing. But thank you so much. I've learned a little bit that I did not know about you, that you played sports. Number one, which is so awesome, because you are definitely a man about town who's about business and who's about doing good work. And I really, really appreciate you, taking the time to share a part of your, passion with Grown in Greek, but also with me, because, I have added, just another notch of respect that I already had to you. So, thank you so much, Lord, for being a part of the show. And how can people support Penny Foundation, support the debates that are coming up in October, and get the word out and stuff?
Yeah. So again, the website is www.pennyfoundation.org. Support us on our social media, whether it's X, is Facebook, it's LinkedIn. It might be another one on my website. On our website, click the newsletter and sign up for a link for our newsletter. And as we send out information, we'll make sure you be first. So we're looking forward to we've got August coming up, which is traditionally Black Philanthropy Month and Black Business Month. And so we're looking at doing another grant cycle then, and then moving towards this debate. And so we'll be getting more information out in these upcoming weeks about both.
Awesome sauce. And applying for grants, that's through the website as well, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, cool. Well, thank you so much. And of course, everybody make sure that you send this one out, tell everybody about this episode, and definitely like, subscribe, share, comment on all social media platforms, watch episodes on YouTube, and subscribe to the podcast on all podcast platforms. Thank you once again, Mr. Lyord Watson Jr.
Thank you for having me.
You can support Grown in Greek by subscribing to the podcast, shopping our exclusive luxury accessory line, or purchasing books from the D9 Book Club by visiting our website at growningreekpodcast.com. Don't forget to like, comment, and share on social media at Grown in Greek Podcast. Thanks for watching.